Hello and welcome to the Gary Dunn Show for October 21st, 2024. As always, I'm your host, Gary Smith, and on today's show, we're going to talk to Coach Dunn about this past Saturday's homecoming victory over the Rock of Slippery Rock, and then we'll take a look ahead at everything in the PSAC, schedule, standing scores, and everything else, and then we'll look ahead to this upcoming week's opponent, the IUP Crimson Hawks. But Coach, first, happy Coach this morning. Heck of a win, heck of an atmosphere. I mean, there's sometimes in a season, in an era that everything comes together. The weather was perfect on Saturday. It was homecoming, big crowd, big atmosphere. First, let's just talk about that atmosphere. I know whenever we were up there, the line getting into Adams Stadium, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, it was a great crowd, and we're just happy that we could do our part. I thought it was a great homecoming weekend and all the festivities that go on for homecoming, but just glad our guys kept the main thing and played good, clean football. But what an atmosphere from our alumni turnout from every era was huge. A lot of the guys that have played for me here starting in 2016 came back. We honored the 84 team, and most of them were back. We had guys from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. Just a special day, and happy that Cal U football brings everybody together. And it was a great environment. Slippery Rock travels well, so they had a good crowd. Regional, we talk about it every year, regional rivalries, college football, and with the way some of the big conferences are with Oregon and USC and the Big Ten and all that stuff, just a great day for college football, and just proud of the way our guys battled and competed and did what they needed to do.
Well, I know whenever I got to the stadium, I got there probably about 11:30, 12 o'clock, and the tailgates were starting, and I was starting to get a little pumped up. I can't imagine what it's like to actually being on the field, to go through the parking, to see everybody, see all the flags on a beautiful day. And going into that game, Slippery Rock coming in game 6 in the country, we talked about it last week, very solid offensive defense, and, I thought your team, we joked the last couple of weeks that, Cardiac Cal wait until the end of the game to score, but you guys this week flipped the script, first play of the game, and that really got y'all off and running.
Well, first, let me go back to the parking lot. We hosted recruits. We had our team breakfast, our team stretch and team breakfast in the morning, and then we hosted recruits for our game day visit. So I get up there late on those days. Well, when I got to the back entrance to the parking lot, I was sitting in traffic, and I didn't have time. So I kind of did a dip and a dodge, did a U-turn, and luckily, I talked the baseball team into letting me in. They were being pretty strict in the one exit and got in there, but I was able to stop at the tailgate where our alumni were, and just thank those guys. I say it every year. I feel like we got the best alumni in the league. Every time I need those guys, they come through for me. So to be able to stop there before the game, and then I was joking when I was like, well, somebody has to work today, so I got to go, guys. But no, good start. We felt like we had a good matchup to the field on some things, and Coach Salisbury did a great job of saying this is what we're going to start the game with. We protected it well, and off to a great start.
And first play of the game, scored a touchdown, but there's so much. There was 59 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean anything if your defense doesn't go out and lay down a couple stops in the first half.
Yeah, I thought that was the key. I think we took them out of their run game early. I think they only ran the ball 10 times the entire day to their tailback. I think only 2 times in the second half. But our defensive staff, Coach Turner, Coach Leonard, Coach Fiasco, Coach Venick, Coach Jacoy Taylor, did a great job of having a game plan schemed up, and kind of got them away from their bread and butter, which was running inside zone and doing all the things off of inside zone. And we kind of took that away early, and our guys were ready to play. And it's no mystery. I thought we had a great week of practice, and when we practice well, a lot of times we play well. And that's going to be the message this week: is we got to get back to work, and we got to have a great week of practice starting today. But really big the way we started on both sides of the ball. And then I thought we carried the special teams. I thought our kickoff unit did a great job. Clayton Rosenthal averaged 50 yards on his 2 punts for the day. Our kickoff return was better. We had only 1 return for 36 yards, which was good. Another one, we made a heads-up play. We teach our guy, if the ball's on the sideline, to stand out of bounds and catch it, because then we get the ball at the 35-yard line. Now, I would have wished he would have moved over a little further. We teach him to straddle the line, make sure he's clearly out of bounds when he catches that ball, because then the kick's out of bounds. So I thought we made some heads-up plays on special team, and it was a great start.
And one of the things watching from the booth as a fan, I mean, there's 8,000 things going on, but one of the things that it seemed to me that, on both sides of the ball, your team was finishing plays. End of a run play, you got guys still blocking. Defensive play, you got 5 or 6 guys still floating to the ball. And I mean, something like that, that's, again, throughout a course of a 60-minute game, that's going to tip the scales in your team's favor. And like I said, I just thought that, just the word was finish.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought our defense tackled extremely well. But a big part of Slippery Rock's offense is their skill kids getting you in space, and breaking tackles. I'm sure you watched the Steeler game last night.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers did not tackle very well in the first half. There's no call in defense for missed tackles. Whatever scheme, front, coverage, blitz we play, if you miss tackles, there's no scheme. But I thought our defense probably the first time all year tackled extremely well, and ran to the football. And then we talked to our guys about a 4-quarter battle. We're going to play for 4 quarters, and I thought our guys did that, and then I thought we kind of wore them down late.
Well, you go into the first half, go in the locker room, we have the lead, but then, Slippery Rock, they had the ball coming out, they get a drive going, and, they had a chance to cut it to a 1-score game, and your defense came up, another red zone interception. Dom Solomon I think that pick just basically kind of took the air out of the other sideline. But that was a huge moment in the game.
Yeah, I think we came out. We did get a 3-and-out on their first possession in the second half, and I think we got 3 points off of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So that put us up, 20 to 7.
Yep.
But they were driving. The next possession, they were driving. Dom had a huge pick. It's funny. Dom's a tremendous athlete, and I'll tell you, the one touchdown we gave up was a coverage mistake on our end. We should have had a guy in the post area, and he wasn't. We got it corrected, and the second time they went to that play, we had a guy in the post area, and we picked it off. So that's a great lesson for our guys, that if you're where you're supposed to be, good things are going to happen. The ball's going to find you. But not only did Don pick it up, he was able to break a tackle and get it out to the 20-yard line. And then I thought that drive was huge. I think we went down and scored and took 7 minutes off the clock. We finished the third quarter on that drive, got into the fourth quarter, were able to score a touchdown to go up 26-7, and now we're going to go for 2 to make it a 3-touchdown game. And when we converted the 2-point conversion, that was that turnover in complementary football, like we talk about, that drive took so much time off the clock. I mean, we got into the fourth quarter at the end of that drive, and now, okay, there's 10 minutes left to go in the game, and you're down 3 scores, so they've got to change their complete game plan.
Well, let's take a look at some of these numbers from Saturday, because they just kind of jump off the stage. You said about the offense being in control. 73 offensive plays. That's a lot of time for that defensive line, the other side, to be blocked and pushed around.
Yeah, I think we almost doubled them up in a time of possession. I think we were 39 minutes and change, and so we almost doubled them up in time of possession. But that's, everyone thinks that's the offense. That's the defense getting off the field on third downs. I think they were 0 of 8 on third downs, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were 1 of 3 on fourth down. When your defense gets off the field, obviously you're giving your offense more opportunities to possess the ball. And I thought we did a really good job in the second half of running the football. We always want to be a balanced offense, and I thought Saturday we were. We had great balance, but we ran the ball really effectively in the fourth quarter. The one drive, we kind of got stalled out and had to punt, but I told the guys, all right, if we go back on the field, we're finishing the game on offense. I think there was a little bit over 5 minutes left to go in the game. They had all 3 timeouts. I said, we're going to run the football, and I don't think we threw it again. We may have threw one little bootleg, but we're going to finish the game with the guys up front, and man, our O-line, they answered the call.
Yeah, there's nothing better than seeing a victory formation at Adamson Stadium, and then just talking a little bit, some other numbers that jump out. I had to look at this stat 3 or 4 times to make sure I printed off the right one. You mentioned offensively running the ball very well, 155 yards net rushing, which is controlling the game. Held Slippery Rock to 10 net yards rushing. I know some of those numbers come off on sacks, but anytime you're under 30, under 50, I mean, geez, whiz.
Our defense did a great job. I thought our coaches, like I said earlier, had a great scheme. And we stopped the run early. Slippery Rock's an explosive. They have 2 explosive tailbacks. If they kind of get rolling and get in space, that's when they're really good. I thought our plan was good, and I thought we tackled well, and I think they only ran the ball 10 times the entire day. Now, again, we had the time of possession, and then when you get up 3 scores, now they've got to start throwing it. Man, what great team run defense that we played on Saturday. We got to continue to do that because we haven't done that the last couple weeks. So that was good to see us take a step in the right direction. We'll get to this week's opponent. They're going to run the football. They're known for running the football. We've got to play a similar style defense to have success.
Well, one last note I want to say here is, like you said, with running the ball 155 yards net, that means the offensive line is doing a great job on that end. But holding up in front of Davis Black, he only took 1 sack. He was 16 for 26, 250 touchdown. Like I said, but keeping him clean, keeping everybody clean. I mean, like you said, I don't know what more you can say, but it was just a complete effort.
That was a point of emphasis for our offensive staff. They have some really, really talented kids. They've probably got the premier pass rusher, or at least one of the best pass rushers we've seen to date. And we kind of had a plan for him to kind of keep him in check. I think their 1D tackle number 0 is as good as anybody in the league. And I thought we did a really good job on him. He had a couple TFLs. He got free a couple times. But for most of the day, I thought we held those two guys in check. And then to have the balance, I thought, the other huge stat is we didn't turn the football over. We created 1 turnover. We didn't turn the football over, which is, when you're playing good football teams, you can't give them extra possessions, and we didn't. And I thought that was a big part of the game.
Well, that's enough looking back verbally. Let's look back with our eyes and our ears and our souls and look back at the highlights from this past weekend's action. And then in the middle of the commercial break, our man James Salvatore went out into the parking lot to talk to some of the revelers and some of the 84 teams, so get a little insight of what was going on in the parking lot pregame, and then we'll take a look at the highlights from last year's game at IUP. You're watching The Gary Dunn Show right here on CTV Sports.
Three receivers set. Black takes a snap, has some time, airing out deep down the field, has a man. Willis pulls it in. Willis inside the Vulcan territory, and 1 play is all he needs for the Vulcan touchdown. Eric Willis III, 65 yards for the Vulcan score. Handoff this time to McCann. McCann able to bounce outside of McCann, able to waltz his way into the end zone for the Vulcan touchdown. Great vision from Eric McCann III, and the Vulcan strike again. The kick from Biko is up, and Biko's kick is good. The Vulcans make it a 3-score game, 17-0 as the score. Biko's kick is up, and Biko's kick is good, 20-7. Long, airing out towards the end zone, intercepted by Dominic Solomon Jr. He read it the whole way, breaking a tackle, and Dominic will not be brought down. Cam Cruz spins him out of play at the 15, but not before a turnover by the Rock, and it's Dom Solomon Jr. coming up with the interception. Boyd in the backfield. Black keeps it this time, and Black gets a block, and Black powering forward, and Black into the end zone for the Vulcan touchdown. Your final score, California 28, Slippery Rock 7.
The Vulcans is James Salvatore, and today's homecoming, so we're just going to go around asking people some random questions about homecoming. Let's go.
Just hanging out with my friends and seeing the parade. I think that's like the cutest part. Yeah.
Well, I'm still pretty new here, but I guess so far homecoming. Yeah.
Okay, that's actually so sick. What's your favorite part about homecoming?
I would say definitely has to be the football game. I feel like it's definitely like the cap, like the end off like the whole week. Then probably like the biggest event, like the most notable one too. So.
Part about homecoming is the people and the alum coming back to enjoy memories they had many years ago.
I guess my favorite moment would be coming here right after graduating college. So it'd be 2018, and I was training in the weight room with a friend of mine who is now the throws coach. And I was speaking to the assistant strength coach, and he said that they needed a graduate assistant. And here I am, working full-time assistant strength coach. So I think that's my favorite moment.
Working under Loudon Conti, the best facility management person we've ever had here at Cal.
What's your favorite memory here at Cal U?
I'd have to kind of respond with that answer. There's too many. There's too many to remember, but got to go Seton Hill home run in the to get us to the playoffs my 5th year.
Ooh, there's a lot. I would have to say probably playoff push with our baseball team. Probably my favorite memory.
I don't know. Probably watching just Keith every game play. It drops like 30 a night. It's great watching Keith play.
What about you?
I would say me and my fiance. That would be my favorite memory of Cal U.
We used to get dressed over here, and then we walked to the practice field. It was like all the way to Burgettstown, but actually it was just across the farm. It felt like 2 miles away. So every day we would walk over there and to the practice field, and then we'd have pre-practice, everybody being out in groups, and Coach Petrucci, we never missed a practice. It never rained here. There never was lightning here. We had practice all the time. But the 84 team, we kind of started slow, had a couple losses, but then just battled, and we won a big game at IUP, and was able to get in the championship against Bloomsburg. And that was a close game. We ended up winning 21-14. Great teammates. Players wanted to win because they wanted to win for their teammate as bad as they wanted to win. And when you got that, you're going to win. And that's what that 84 team did. So just a lot of great memories of everybody coming together and really getting after it. So,
it's probably just having a great time with the other players on the team and just living life.
I'd probably say the camaraderie of all the fellows together, just spending time with your boys and playing baseball is a pretty good time.
I couldn't agree more.
So he came down. I went to Upper St. Clair High School, right? And like when the recruits would come down, you see, and they call you out of class, and it's like, Derek Deerwater, please report to the football office, along with a couple other kids, right? So I go there, and Coach Petrucci's in Jim Render's office, and he's giving us a spiel, and he's like, hey, he goes, listen, you come down here. The last time this school won a PSAC championship, I was the quarterback, and if you come down here, I will guarantee you that in your time, we will win the PSAC. And sure as hell, 4 years later, in '84 season, we did it. And I said, do you remember telling me that in Upper St. Clair High School? And he said, I don't remember that, but I believe you. And so anyway, that's a cool story.
How time passed you by.
Yeah.
Kids, enjoy your life while you're young, because you get old quick. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Probably just coming here every Saturday and going to the football games. Definitely my favorite memory and favorite thing about coming here. So.
The combined tailgate took us 5 years to figure it out and put it all together, but we finally got everyone together, so.
That's nice.
The camaraderie and the friendship that's been fostered over the last 4 or 5 years, whatever it may be, and bringing everybody together and seeing how these young men have matured on the field, not only as players but as individuals, is really exciting as a parent. So.
Just watching your kid grow from year 1 to year 2. Now all the boys here are all seniors. We're senior dads. So we're enjoying it right now.
That's good.
Beat the rock today, right?
Yeah, that's what we're okay. Hi guys, I'm Mike Reinhardt. What a wonderful day for everybody to be here. My favorite memory in 1984, believe it or not, on Fridays we had something that was called the FAL League. It was the Friday afternoon league. Coach Petrucci thought we were out of our minds, but it was just the lineman on a 3-on-3 touch for 20 minutes right before any major practice or whatever. And the day before the championship game, we actually did that. And I thought he was going to throw us all off the team. So that's my favorite memory. I love seeing everybody. It's a great organization. Thank you, Coach Dunn, for bringing us all together. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And when I'm up there filming the game, like in the fourth quarter, we hear over the speakers, Shippensburg, whatever their score was at IUP, and it was final. And as soon as that was announced, the entire stadium just erupted. Our team just had a lot of energy on the sideline. It just came about, and then the next week we went to IUP and destroyed them. And that was probably the best memory. That's what made everybody so special of a year. So that's what it's about, and that's why we organize this to come back. It's the 40th year anniversary of that day, of that year, and a lot of these guys played on. And we also invited a lot of the alumni who were a big part of our lives back then, who played before us.
Favorite memory that I've made here at Cal U is definitely the friends and memories that I've already made just with the baseball team for sure. And then outside of that, we'll see you guys next week for another episode of What's Up Vulcans. How much does baby goat cost?
First and 10, Willis in motion, handoff to McCann, and McCann makes a man miss, and McCann has a lead blocker. McCann walks into the end zone for the Vulcan touchdown. Not even 3 minutes in, and the Vulcans go the distance. Play action pass, caught over the middle and into the end zone for the Crimson Hawks touchdown. That's Hilton Ridley. Beatco's kick is up. And Anthony remains automatic. 10-7 your score on 1st and 10 from the Vulcan 11. Hunter throw over the middle. That pass is caught, and for the touchdown, just like that, the Crimson Hawks take the lead. That's Cole Laney. Beatco's kick is up, and Beatco's kick hits there. The wind nearly took it away, but and the Vulcans block the punt. And the Vulcans are going to scoop and score. That's Khalil Taylor. He blocks it, and he runs it into the end zone for the Vulcan touchdown. Needs to step up in his absence. 2nd and 10. Marcatelli to throw. Marcatelli's packet intercepted. As Boyd gets the call now, and Boyd trying to find some room, and Boyd, the ball comes out, and the Vulcans are going to fall on top of it. Pitch to Stewart. Stewart trying to get around the outside. Ball comes out. Hutchinson lays the boom, and the Vulcans get the ball back. Romano back to throw. Rolling now to his left. Romano's throw intercepted by Californian Hutchinson.
And welcome back to the Gary Dunn Show. Right there you saw highlights from Slippery Rock. You saw what was going on in the parking lot, and then pregame, and then last year's game against IUP. But Coach, I got to say pregame for the parking lot, because I know postgame that it was as celebratory as the scene I've ever seen at Absent Stadium.
Yeah, what a great day. The weather was perfect. The parade, I was down here with recruits on campus, and town was packed with the parade, and then just the crowd and the support that we got, not only from our alumni, but from our students and from the community. Man, what a great day for college football. But again, just happy our guys stepped up and did what they needed to do to make it an even better day.
Well, let's put a bow on that day and look at what else happened in the PSAC over this past weekend's action. As we mentioned, California 28-7 over Slippery Rock. Millersville losing to Shepherd 35-21. Clarion coming back and beating Edinburgh 29-28. And if you have this on your bingo card for a score, you win about $1 billion. Kutztown 31, Shippensburg 2. Don't always see a 2 in that final score column. IUP over Seton Hill 20-13. Lock Haven holding off Bloomsburg 35-32, and then East Stroudsburg over Westchester 45-31. And we'll look quickly at the PSAC East and West standings. And as tradition, we're not going to talk about them. Just see, a bunch of names on the screen, but it's getting clear as that number goes up at the end. We're getting closer to the end of the season, and Coach, you always say it's a one-game season.
Yeah.
And that game season's IUP this week.
Well, big game this week.
Huge game.
And I told our guys after the game that we're, win, lose, or draw, we have 24 hours to think about that game, and then we move on to the next. This game was no bigger than the first conference game or the last conference game, so we're going to get back to work on Monday, keep things in perspective. It's allowed us to be in a good position, but that's all it's done. So.
And I know you've been looking at film ever since Saturday night, yesterday, Sunday, today. Mentioned a little bit in the first part of the show, their running team, they're more of a pro-style offense. But what else have you seen on film about their offense?
They do a really good job. They're always a physical bunch. They're going to establish the run. I don't think they'll get away from the run like some other teams have. But the kind of the wild card's the quarterback. Not only do they have a physical run game, but they also run him, which creates he's a really, really good athlete that creates you to be short at times because they'll have a power run game, but with also the possibility of him pulling it and running it. They have some design quarterback runs. So that's the key to them. And then once they get you over committing to the run, they're going to take shots down the field. They're extremely big at wide receiver. They've got a ton of kids that are they've got some receivers that are just big kids. So we're going to have to play great team defense. We're going to have to tackle. We're going to have to run to the ball. We're going to have to play our best football game because they are an explosive offense that can beat you a number of different ways.
And turning to the other side of the field, the defense, their identity's been kind of like ours, hard hitting and responsible, physical football. But is there anything else that you've seen on tape?
Yeah, they play an even front. I think their secondary is really talented. They've got a veteran secondary crew. They got probably one of the best safeties in the league, number 10, who's very, very athletic. I think the other safety, number 7, is doing a really good job. Their corner's been, I think, a 4-year starter for them now. They're solid up front. They took a transfer linebacker that is a really, really good college football player. So they're just solid at every level. I don't know that, last week I really thought that Slippery Rock's D-line was kind of the group for them. I don't know. Indiana's just solid everywhere. I mean, they've got good D. They're big inside. The linebackers are good players. The secondary's a good player. It's Ten's kind of their leader. He's played against us, I think, for 15 years. I think he's been here as long as I have by now. Just solid, and they're going to do what they do. They believe in what they do. They're going to do what they do. We got to, again, continue to work on taking care of the football. I think that's a key for us, and making great decisions.
And in a game, a rivalry game, any game, but there's always the third phase that could come into play, the special teams. We saw a few weeks ago, they sent their kicker out for a 54-yard attempt that, ultimately missed, but that shows that they have confidence in what that
He's got a strong leg. I saw him make a kick. I was watching last night against Edinboro. He hit a 49-yarder that hit the top of the upright and kicked in. But what that tells me is it hit the top and kicked in. It wasn't on its way down. He's probably got a leg where they feel good anywhere, I would imagine, from 50 yards. Their punter's solid. They've got some good returners. They're just a well-coached, solid football team. It's a battle every time we play these guys. And the more I watch, the better they are. They had given up, or they fell in a big hole against Slippery Rock and came back and took the lead. And Slippery Rock had to score in the last 10 seconds or 30 seconds to beat them. They're a well-coached, good football team that loves playing here. So we're going to have a great week of practice, and we're going to have to keep our main thing the main thing, which is taking care of the football, running and tackling, and being physical.
And Coach, you've been a part of this rivalry first as a player and then as a coach. For many years. What makes this rivalry so special?
I was thinking about how old you make me feel on this show. You're like, you've been here so long. It's and I talk about it every year. It's the fact that these two schools have played every year for I don't know how many years. And where college football has went and is going, I'm not a huge fan of it, to have UCLA and it makes zero sense. And I think that's why the PSAC is so special. And I think part of the reason the rivalry, every one of our kids knows that someone on their team and their kids. Every one of our alumni has a friend that graduated from there, and it's special to keep that going in the state of college athletics now. We recruit the same guys. They recruit our guys, and we recruit their guys, and the coaching staff. I've got a lot of respect. They've done a great job up there. Recruiting. They've got great tradition. I think that's what it. Just the familiarity of both schools. It's only an hour and a half away, maybe. It's a good rivalry.
So Kyle and IUP have been playing for almost 100 years in football, and the next game is this Saturday. It'll be noon at Adamson Stadium. Tailgate lots probably open in about 10 minutes from now on Monday, so get up there.
I think they might still be cleaning up from this weekend. I don't know.
I know, and I drove in this morning. I looked over. There's still some tents. I don't know if they're permanent tents or there might be some people sleeping under there. So, it's going to be a nice week. Don't disturb them. But that game is at noon on Saturday. Rest of the PSAC schedule really quickly. Gannon versus Edinboro at noon. Lockhaven and East Stroudsburg at 12:05. Millersville, Westchester, 2 o'clock. Shippensburg, Bloomsburg, 2 o'clock. Shepherd, Kutztown, 2 o'clock. And the nightcap, or the afternoon cap, Clarion and Seton Hill at 4 p.m. But, Coach, Anything else you want to say to get what can you say to get the people to fill all those parking lots again this week?
Yeah, well, I'm sure everybody I talked to had a great time Saturday. So if you were here Saturday, come back this Saturday, bring a couple friends with you. Great college football. It's going to be a fun day at Adamson Stadium. But I can't thank our supporters enough for what they did this past weekend. But I'm going to ask them to come back out again, enjoy the camaraderie, the friendship, the tailgating. We need you at Adamson Stadium this week. This is a big one.
And the early weather forecast looks like it's going to be a beautiful day on Saturday. So for Coach Dunn, we'll see you at noon at Adamson Stadium. But for some reason, you can't be there. If you have a doctor's excuse, CUTV Sports will have you covered on CUTV Sports 1 at noon and the PSAC Digital Network. For Coach Dunn, I'm Gary Smith. You're watching The Gary Dunn Show on CUTV.